friends, how are you all doing? Welcome and friends, we are now with a very important topic, that is portfolio performance. As an investor, whenever we are investing, we are very often interested to see how our portfolio is performing as against our expectations. We have put our money in risky assets and we are taking the risk with the hope that we will get more returns. But the word more is very subjective. We have to relate this more returns with the amount of risk that we have taken. And from there we are going to discuss some of the techniques for measuring the portfolio performance. Friends, in this video we are going to take only two, and in the following videos we will cover the other techniques. The first technique that we will discuss is known as the risk adjusted returns. Now friends, as I have already told you, whenever we are investing in a portfolio, our idea is that we should get more and more returns for the amount of risk that we have taken. So friends, here under the risk adjusted technique, we have two measures. One is the Sharpe's ratio, and the other one is the Treynor ratio, Treynor's ratio. So friends, we will see what is this two ratio and how can this be useful in deciding the performance of a portfolio. Let's talk about the Sharpe ratio. Sharpe ratio, first let me write here how it is expressed. Sharpe ratio is expressed as return from a portfolio minus the risk-free return divided by the standard deviation of the portfolio. Let's understand what does this mean. See friends, whenever we are investing in the market with some risk, in the market there are two options. One is risk-free, you don't have to take any risk, and another is risky, then take risk. So, suppose I have chosen this. Why I have chosen this? Because I know if I be here, I will get less returns. But if I am here, I will get more returns. Now suppose the risk-free return is 5%. And I have chosen risky assets. So don't you think I must get 5% plus something because I have taken risk, right? This something is the premium. What is premium? This is a kind of reward, okay, that I am getting because I have taken the risk. And this 5 is something which I must get. I must get. So friends, if I am getting here 15, total is 15, that means this was 10%, so I am getting 10 plus 5, that is 15, right friends? So here also I can write RP is 15, I got 15. However, what is my risk-free return? 5. That means how much I am getting because of taking risk? I am getting 10 rupees because of taking risk. So more the premium, better it is, right? This part is our reward. This part is the margin that I get because I have taken some risk. But when I am saying that I got 10% premium for risk, that means my 10% means I am getting 10% more, 10 rupees more or 10% more than what the risk-free return is offering me, and I am happy. I should not be happy simply because I am getting some reward or I am getting some premium. I must compare this premium with the amount of risk I am taking. If the amount of risk is very huge, but in return I am getting a small premium, that does not justify the performance. That's why I have to relate with the risk of the amount of risk that I am taking, and I will compare my premium as against the risk. So if the risk is 2, so I divide by 2. So I get here 5 rupees. 5 is the Sharpe ratio. It tells you that for 1 unit of risk you get 5 rupees as your premium. So friends, this way I can find out for each portfolio what is the Sharpe ratio, and then I can arrange in the descending order and find out which portfolio is performing the best. So that's the idea of Sharpe ratio. I hope it is clear, just the difference between how much you got and how much minimum is expected as a risk-free return. Divide by the standard deviation of the portfolio to know how much risk you have taken. So risk per unit and reward per unit. That will tell you the reward per unit of risk. So that is the ratio. Now Treynor ratio is also same, but Treynor ratio is specified as RP minus RF divided by the beta of the portfolio. So see, the numerator is same, the reward, but the denominator is changed. Here you have taken standard deviation, here you have taken beta. As you have seen in many of the previous lectures, that beta actually captures the market risk, whereas standard deviation captures the total risk. But many a times investors are interested in beta because they are interested to know what is the systematic risk. Right? So beta is actually showing the sensitivity of the portfolio with the market movements. Right? It relates with the market. So you can say Sharpe ratio talks about standard deviation. So it is actually talking about reward to volatility. Sorry, reward to variability, because standard deviation is a measure of variability ratio. Reward to variability ratio. How much reward as compared to the variability, because standard deviation is a measure of variation. Whereas beta of the portfolio is actually talking about the sensitivity or volatility. Sensitivity or volatility. So this you can say as a reward to volatility ratio. Reward to volatility ratio. So that's all about the two ratios, friends. We can make use of these two ratios. Here also the interpretation is same. It will tell you the premium or the reward that you get per unit of risk you have taken, and this risk is systematic risk. This is reward per unit of total risk, and this is reward per unit of systematic risk. So that's all about these two ratios. Let's talk about the differential return model. Friends, we will see the differential return model, which is very simple. It says that there is an expected return of the portfolio. Whenever we are investing in a portfolio, there is always an expected return, as we have seen in the previous videos. And what is the expected return? The risk-free return, how much we are getting minimum. And then we know there is a premium RM minus RF, right? We get some premium and we multiply this with the beta to know what is the total returns earned by the expected returns that is expected from a portfolio. So RF is the risk-free return, and this is the margin is the market returns multiplied by the type of amount of risk that your portfolio has taken. Now suppose this comes to 25. That means I am expected to earn 25 rupees from the market. But when you calculated your actual return, actual portfolio return, you find actual return of a portfolio, you find that your return was 30. Right? So 30 is your actual return, whereas 25 is your expected return. Let's calculate alpha. Alpha is 30 minus 25. So 30 minus 25 is what? Is 5 rupees. So this 5 rupees is your differential return. That means how much my actual return differs from the expected return. So more there is a differential return or difference return, I can say the performance is good. So I can rank the portfolio in terms of the amount of difference that I am getting. The portfolio which gives you a higher difference should be ranked first, and the other one should be ranked in the following order. So that's all about the differential returns model. So friends, we have covered the risk adjusted model, we have seen the differential return models. In the next video, we will check some other model of measuring the performance of a portfolio. Till then, goodbye.